I think I just pooped on the couch. I'm on a boat and it's going fast and pass me the nanny man, pass me the again. Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're gonna be doing Venus in the sign of Gemini. What happens when Venus in the sign of Gemini in our birth horoscope? Yes, I had a lot of coffee to drink just now. So yes, Venus in the sign of Gemini. Well, first of all, what is Gemini sign? Gemini sign is about duality. It's about the union of male and female. Okay, this is the actual personification of, sexual union between two people, because Gemini is not the twins. It is the male and the female together. Okay, so don't mistake that. And Gemini represents communication with the other person, communication with the opposite sex. And so Venus, which is our love, which is creativity, which is our sense of pleasure, beauty, relationship, luxury, and even wealth, comes into the sign of union, then guess what's going to happen? Our sense of love, pleasure, beauty, art, relationship are all going to be based on what Gemini represents, which is genuine communication, which is about being with the local group. Because Gemini is a third sign, meaning the third house of the horoscope, which represents, your local friends, your local, hangout places and short distance travel. So here, your sense of pleasure and sense of relationship really thrives when you have genuine communicative relationship with your counterpart. Especially for a male, a male might be quiet. Here's the thing, just because you have a Gemini Venus doesn't mean you're going to be communicative, because it's not your moon, it's not your mind. It's not even Mercury or speech. Venus is the way you relate to others, especially the opposite sex, in terms of love, romance, and relationship. So for a male, even though he might be quiet, he will be attracting very talkative women who might actually do talking for as a profession, like teachers, lecturers, or they would be just very much interested in communicating with the opposite sex. So these guys, their sense of pleasure with their Venus comes in when they are communicating with their friends, when they're in a good communication with their, wives and girlfriend and any kind of female counterpart. A woman as well, is going to be very communicative. See, the role kind of switches for Venus then in a woman's chart, because a woman herself will be attracted towards, men who talk, or will be attracted towards friendship with other females who talk a lot. But yeah, it can lead to gossip. It can lead to useless talks, especially if Venus is sitting, in a bad dignity, in a bad house. It can lead to a lot of chit chats that are useless. But the way you relate to other people, especially your opposite sex, especially in love and relationship, which is equal for both men and women, you get somebody communicative. You need to have the balance of communication. And this also represents a person who loves writing, who gets pleasure from writing not just books and articles, but they're the people who might actually write a note, write a letter to their loved one, even in the digital age. I actually know of a friend of mine who does that. He actually wrote a book. He's trying to write a book, and I see him, especially in the past 2 years, I saw him, he was writing on a notepad. He's like, no, I don't want to write it on a computer. I want to write it on a notepad because it feels more personal to me. It feels more personal when I'm writing it with my hand. And so Venus gives that sense of pleasure of Gemini qualities, which is writing and communication, even salesmanship. They have this, they take pleasure in making professional relationships into sell. So selling becomes a very easy and very lucrative aspect of their life. Like if they're in mortgage, if they're in any kind of sales career, they will flourish and they will thrive in there, because the way they communicate, they have a very pleasant voice. They have a very pleasant way of approaching somebody. They're very calm and collective. They're not like making you buy something. They're making you fall in love with them first. And then automatically it will lead you to buy product for them. And that's the best quality that they have. Now, you got to remember one thing. Gemini is a very sexual sign. It is a very provocative sexual sign. See, people think Scorpio is a sexual sign. No, Scorpio is just deep, intense feelings. So anything that they do, it becomes very intense, very deep. So if they love you or hate you, or they make love to you, it's very deep and passionate. This is why people think Scorpio is about sexuality. It is, but to be honest, it's really the sign of Gemini, which represents the union. This is why Mercury, is like the prince who hops from one woman to the other. This is why Geminis are known to be a bit provocative, be a bit more, seductive, and play that mind games on you, because they know how to play the game. They know the game of chase. However, Venus, the original significance of Venus is not about that. Venus wants to make genuine relationships. Venus wants to love somebody for a long term. So do not think Venus being in the sign of Gemini, you're getting somebody who's going to hop from one woman to the other or one man to the other. No. It's simply Venus energy of communicating. Venus energy to actually be in a relationship with someone and love someone happens to find its balance with communication. And they're very loving, they're very, considerate, they're very pleasant in their approach. When they communicate with you, they're very pleasant in their... See, Venus is literally being pleasant. Okay. And so in this sign, people who date a lot are probably in the transition period of finding something solid. But when they find something solid, they stick to it. I know other people with Gemini and Venus and Gemini who've had very long-lasting relationships. Yeah, they may not have lasted. I mean, there's like 9-year, 12-year relationships that I've known of. So it's not like that. And they're very committed too because of that. Now, if you think you have the Venus and Gemini and you're very provocative, sexual, and you just want to have sex with every other woman that you see or man that you see, it's probably because you have an aspect or conjunction of certain planet, especially it could be Mars or Rahu, the north node of the moon. When that happens, then your sexual drive is in the driver's seat. It really becomes the Venus energy of sexuality and lust really becomes more like provocative and wild. But if Venus is sitting alone without any aspect from any other planet, it will be very genuine towards relationship. If Venus is sitting with Mercury in his own sign, in his own dignity, so that adds to the flair of Venus. That actually makes them not only communicative, but also makes them sexual to that one particular partner. So do not think that Venus here is about, finding 10 different partners. That really comes from other impacts. This is why never take these descriptions as is. Always look at in your chart if your Venus is receiving any aspect from anything, if your Venus is in conjunction with other planet, because that will change the quality of Venus, okay? And so if you want to know where your Venus is placed and if it's placed in the sign of Gemini or if it's in conjunction with a planet, check out the link below. Check out my book, The Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Just make sure you follow the directions below at the link. But guys, this was my analysis of Venus in Gemini. Tomorrow we'll be doing Venus in Cancer. So if you haven't subscribed yet, just subscribe below or above wherever you see the subscribe button. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with more espresso in my system. What number 1? What number 3? Hey, what's up all you cares lovers? So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and please share my channel with all your family and friends who are in love with astrology, because I'm the man when it comes to astrology, okay? So make sure you do that, and I will see you tomorrow with another cool new video, okay? Sorry, I love my coffee spiked. Woo!